Come closer, everybody. All right, so I have an inward spiral and I have an outward spiral. I have my shoulder ability to free my shoulder. Will you put a hand on me so sometimes it doesn't show up in the key, okay? So I have a shoulder to free and you can go back, forward and back, forward and back, okay? And then the same thing, you have a quad, the quad can free. You feel that, Chris? All right. Okay. All right, so I also, as a marker, I have a grid, a vertical grid on my body. There's two grids on my body. Well, one's a perimeter. I have my outer rim, which is a Parker's concept, and my defense, offense doesn't go outside my shoulder line, nor above the arc on the top of my head. So it's like an egg shape, and then it comes down to the groin. And so all my defense, offense, and my handwork is in that area. But more particularly, I would ask you to think of it as your elbows. Your elbows have to stay in that area. Your hands can go out of it, but your elbows can't, okay? Then I have another grid made up of vertical lines. So one's on the shoulder, the outside shoulder, and then one comes down the middle chest, one down the middle of my body, and then you have the same thing on the other side, okay? And between my inward spiral and my outward spiral, my freeing shoulder, both forward and backwards, and my quad forward and backwards, which includes inside and outside, you make up whatever spiral you need to generate whatever effect you need on the uke. You don't do anything other than those things, okay? And then whatever spiral I end up opting for, it is going to never have my elbows go outside the outer rim. And my inward spiral is going to take my elbow from the yang line on the outside, that shoulder line, and bring it in towards this midline here, okay? At least to this half chest, which is the yin line. It has to do that. And then your outward spiral has to do the opposite. So it has to come from either the midline or the yin line, and it brings your elbow back to that yang line, okay? All right, with that, as he's here, and I know that in my spiral, I have Gedan, and when I want to change this, that's when you would have Chudan. Okay, there's Chudan. And then you also would have Jodan. So I can combine them in some very strange ways to get this to work, okay? Obviously, if I go Gedan, right, and I move my body in, then you can continue the spiral. And you get more out of this as you move your body in, out, rotate in or out, etc. Okay? The one I want you to feel right now is that first one. So I'm going to go in, so my elbow's going to start on the outside and come in. Then I'm going to start the inward spiral from here, which is Chudan, you see? And I'm going to take it into Jodan, make it go over my head. You can add your quad to it. Pay attention, elbow out, in, home, up, quad. Okay, let's try it. She goes over your head. You go under her arm. Without changing the arm pattern. Where's your Chudan? And bring your claw up and launch her behind you. No. So here, her elbow goes in. Then look, this is Ikkyo. You see? If I keep it going that way. So in, here, then movement this way. Okay? Don't smell the obvious. This is the point of this, because it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And you're going to smell the obvious and want to go this way and try to get them that way. But I'm going this way, and then she has to, from here, from the Chudan, I'm going to bring her this way. Okay? Okay? Try it. Okay, so let's look. In grappling, if you want to control someone's arm, you have to control the wrist and the elbow. Just control the wrist. The elbow has too much articulation that can bring it. It's hard to control. Control the wrist and the shoulder, and the same thing, the elbow can get out. You have to control both. In your energetics, you're controlling both from here. That's important, as opposed to you're just here in the wrist. I never control his elbow, okay? You have to control his elbow. So if you pay attention, as my elbow's moving along those grids and within those rules, you're controlling his elbow. So as my elbow moves, my elbow goes from the yang line to the yin line, and his elbow went from the yang line to the yin line, okay? As my elbow passes into Chudan, his elbow is going around. I'm affecting his elbow, okay? And as my elbow goes up, his elbow's traveling that way in space. You should feel his elbow as you're doing this maneuver. You should not be in his hand. Trying to get this. You guys got that? So his elbow, and of course you will always feel the elbow if you are connected. If you seize his center, then you will always make the elbow, the articulation ability of the elbow, you'll make it null and void. That is why we don't just do linkage or following all the time, okay? So, as I move, his elbow goes in, okay? As my elbow rolls under, his goes up, and I'm moving back. He's just staying still right now. He's not pushing, he's not pushing, he's not pushing, and I get out of the way because it looks totally different. He's just still in this drill, and I'm doing everything. I'm moving his elbow, okay? Moving it. What happened? Some of you got here. I'll do it again. What happened? What do you think happened?
You went past the...
I did, do you see? So as I moved his elbow here, and I go like that, he's not going to go on that side. As I moved his elbow over here. If I do the same thing over here, I go this way, and I go that way, and not going to get underneath because I'm still moving his elbow down. If you wanted to do that, you could, you see. That would do it. But it's a choice I made. So as I do this, it's very small. Don't go too far. Okay? Feel what you're doing. If I go too far, I'll close it off. Just far enough. Gather the elbow into the power. Okay? See if you can start shrinking it more, blending it more. Okay? Try it. Okay. If on that last one, as I brought my elbow in, it brought his elbow in. Okay? On this one, if I bring my elbow down along the yang line, you see that? Before I bring it in, if you pay attention, watch his elbow. I'm doing the Geda handwork. If I go in, his elbow goes in. But if I take and keep my elbow along the yang line and do the inward spiral, his elbow's going out. You see that? There's his yang line, and this elbow's outside of it. Okay? So outside his elbow is going. You guys see that? Okay? I'm going to show it standing up, and you'll get more. This way. This way. Goes that way. This way. Out. Okay? And I add to that some movement. You get more out. Without my arm actually taking my elbow outside my shoulder line. Okay? This way. Turn. I take a step, you'll get more outwardness going. But my elbow never goes outside my shoulder line. I'm never going like this to do that. Elbow out. Turn, step. My hand comes straight to my center. Here, finish the spiral. That elbow that went outside starts to generate centrifugal energy. It's not that I turn and turn him. My movement is this. I obey the rules. He'll go out. Different. Can you see that? So if you look at my movement, that's my rotation. Boom, straight. That's it. Okay, let's try that position. Okay, in Ushido Tenkan, you never step forward into this. Okay? Never go towards him into the range of his weapon. Never go into his range. Never go towards the other side either. That's a no-no. If you have to, you do. But in Aikido, they do it all the time. They like it. But in real fighting, that's stupid. Okay? In real fighting, I never move to his strong side. You never move to the strong side. You might get caught. Yeah, I have to, but I never do it out of intention. Okay? So in Shiho Tenkan, you stay away from that side. You stay away from that side. Never here. People do that because that's where they gain the momentum. But you always move here. Here. Watch your arm here. One pop. There. If you pay attention, boom. It'll add to the fall. You don't actually have to do cookie fall. Right in here, boom, and hit, and turn his head. Because he's already falling here. Boom. So I'm just gonna turn his head. Boom. Boom. Okay, try it. I know everyone goes like this. You know what I'm talking about? So you're gonna paint the circles. I do a big circle. Let me go back. I gotta do the whole thing. Okay. Stop. You understand? Can you see it? Well, he was already falling. You get it? So I don't need to do, this makes no sense, makes no martial sense. And he was already falling from the angle of it. So I'm not going here. I'm not accelerating him. He was already being accelerated. What I am doing is there's that energy's going here like this. And then I'm going to take this and it becomes a push. You know. So it's an inward elbow. Boom, boom. It's an inward elbow. Okay? So I would do this if you're training. I would try to do this one. And not do this so that I can do this. Okay? And do it inward elbow. So externally, that's what you're doing, okay? And you get X energy out of that, okay? But what are my hands doing in terms of elevation? Okay? Yeah, they're dropping. So that tells you what's the chi doing. The chi's dropping, okay? And so this hand that comes here, is very, very heavy. It's not looking over here to do this kind of stuff, okay? So as I come around, very, very heavy, okay? More like Makia push hand. What it should feel like, okay? So you have to let that chi drop. Let it drop, okay? That way he's off balance. Because he's almost about to fall, right? You could get him to fall there. Okay? But Shiho-Nage, and that's where we're going, is a technique when someone was about to fall and then did not fall. That's where the opening of Shiho-Nage is, okay? So we're going to do one more progression before we get to the technique. But if you pay attention, as he tries to get his balance, you see, and he did not fall, there's the tilt for Shiho-Nage, right here. It's more his job. It's not me going, because I would be taking him out of check. Pay attention. It's not in check. He starts to go, he's not in check. Okay? We don't want to do that. Alright, so here, we'll get there. Here's the next progression. Okay? So he would be more out here, right? He's outside of my yin-yang line, and his energy is going that way, right? Okay. So as I do that same spiral that we had before, we're gonna take him backwards. Okay? Because we're not in the same place. See that? But I do the same movement. Things are different. Don't move this in. Don't move your elbow in. Okay? This goes this way. Okay? This way. Pay attention to where he is. It changes what we're doing. You can add your claw to this whole thing. Okay? But he's going that way, even though I'm doing something that originally brought him this way and went me under. Okay? So let's try it. Okay, so he's off there. I don't want to bring my elbow this way or my chudan that way. Yes, that's true. Okay? But I also don't want to physically paint what I'm seeing him do. Okay, so I don't want to go like that. My hand does this. My hand does this. Okay? Such that if he was here, you see, when my hand goes this way, he goes that way. My hand looks exactly the same. Hand looks exactly the same. Just like when he grabs, don't paint with your hands what you're seeing his body do. That's not what we're doing. I have these rules to follow because those rules take my outer deltoid out of it and keep my hands in an offensive, defensive readiness. Okay? So same thing. Don't paint it. The angle that you have generated is enough. Okay? It's enough. People watching, it's not that he pushes and I just kind of lift it up and he goes flying out that way. That's not what's happening. He's not pushing at all. You're gathering it in the same way that we did that other day. Also, I'm not doing the external thing that Chiba does, where he comes here and he gets a kind of nikyo going there, and he makes the guy come around. But he has to do acrobatics to not fall there. You go this way. Okay? That lock works all the more better if you're doing the same thing that I'm doing here. That the lock that you have is going to break more of his body and make him go around more. Okay? It's going to be more painful, but it's not necessary. Okay? So don't paint the picture. Just do the arm pattern. Boom, boom, fuck. Okay? That's enough. Okay? Try it again. Don't paint the pattern. Yeah. Okay, back. So as he's going that way, feeling that momentum, he's going around that way. If I do that handwork, it should keep accelerating him. Okay? So going around this way, and it goes this way around me. Oh, boom. Boom, boom. keep him going now. Don't stop him. Up. Keep him going now. Okay, try it. In that little drill, all we're working on is on the transference of that momentum still going behind me, still going around, but he's going up, like my hands are going up, but he's actually going that way, okay? But if you pay attention in the technique, you'd have his balance and then you brought him back out of balance, and we're not gonna do that. What we do instead in the technique is I drop underneath all of that, okay? So as he got his ab loop, I drop underneath. I don't let him come up. So you pay attention, just drop it. I'm not pulling him. In other words, I'm not going here, he's up, and then I go down. What's happening is, as he's coming around, his energy is going there. That's what I'm doing. This little extra acceleration. Boom. So watch how my knees are already dropping. We're going to do the last drill. I'm not going to hold him. Whoa. Duck under. Send him around. Try that progression. Okay, so as we're moving, my duck under here, and I just staying with his hand. I'm not pulling him down. He was already falling. I'm not pulling him down. I'm staying with his hand. Okay? So this part was already making him lose his balance. Now all I have to do is stay with his hand. Okay? You might have to turn, you might have to slow your rate, but the hand has to fall back down according to that grid. Okay? So what I mean by that is, you're going to pin this shoulder, okay? And so that hand should be underneath that midline of the grid. Then it has your weight, okay? And that's where your strike is, on that same line. So you're here. Not over here. I don't do this version. This is Chiba Sensei's. This is just too weak for me. Around, he falls, boom, there's the line, right here. That's where I push down, straight, and then there's your strike. Straight, shoom. Here it is again. You see there's a slight turn in my body. So he falls under my nose, right here. That's that center line. And there's the power line. Okay, try it. Again, not everyone, but the usual suspects here, right? Okay, as you're coming around here, you bring him out of posture, you stop accelerating him, and then you're gonna use power to take him down. First of all, I can't, he's already stronger than me. I can't, even if I drop my whole weight, I can't pull him down. He's in perfect posture, which he's gonna be. He wasn't, then you go perfect posture right here. I'm not gonna pull him, not gonna pull him down. It's not gonna happen, okay? And in the time that I try to break your shoulder, he already came in with whatever, right? Oh, no. Okay, it's stupid. You just have to keep him accelerating as you bring him this way. Never stop the technique. Don't take him out of Kuzushi. Okay? Then the next one is you're making him go all the way around you. Do you see? No. You stay with the hand. You already did all you could with the hand and obeying the rules that I have. You see? Now if I go like this, I broke those grid rules. And he's up way too long. So you have to obey the grid rules while you move with a small turn. You see? There's a small turn. I stay with the hand. So we'll go slower. We have to game the Kuzushi because he can't be following, okay? So he's going back, and I turn, you see? There's a small turn. Now he goes all the way around me because he'd be standing, and now I use power. How do you know where to turn? You'll feel the yin space. Off he goes, turn to, not stretch your grip. Okay? Okay, so if I'm going to do a single leg, right? If I'm going to come up and do this drop, it's not the case that I come here and then drop, you see? But it's also not the case that I'm here leaning. I keep the posture, you see? And I lower the posture. And that's the same thing here. It's not that I am upright, because if I'm upright, he's upright, and then I try to overpower him, that's not going to work. But it's also not like I'm here. I keep the posture. Keep the posture. Boom. But if you pay attention, I'm dropping. Because I don't want his shoulder to come back up. Well, his shoulder is telling me how low I have to go. My head has to go under his shoulder. I don't lift his shoulder up over my head. That would take him out of check. Try it again.